Hello, guys. Good evening. Hello, everyone. Hello,
Good evening,
hello.
teacher.
Good evening.
Hello, teacher. Good night.
Good evening. How are you today? Or tonight, guys? How are you doing?
Fine.
You're fine. You're doing good. Excellent.
Doing great, teacher. Thank you. How
All
about
right.
you?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. All right, guys. Excellent. Just giving one more minute to the rest of the students to connect to our session today. While we wait, let me open the attendance so we can take it today. All right, good. So let's share the agenda for today. Let's see what we're going to do during our class number 7, the second part of our class number 7. Let's see. So yesterday I told you that today we will finish the task. Okay, so I'm going to give you around 10, maximum 15 minutes to finish the task. We are not going to share it because that will take a long time, but I do want you to finish it during the class today. So you will have 10, 15 minutes to finish. If you finish earlier than that, before that, you come back to the main meeting so we can continue with our class. Because we already started Unit 7, so we will continue in the next page with some new vocabulary. So we're going to watch first a video about some deadly fashion trends in history, because that's the topic for the next part of the vocabulary is about extreme fashion, okay? So that's what we're going to check. We're going to do some extra vocabulary practice, a listening activity, and finally a discussion, okay? So that is what we have for today, what we need to cover. And now that all the students are connected, let's start checking the attendance. Let's check the list. So let me take a look. All right. Karen Acevedo.
Present, teacher.
All right. Santiago Fonseca.
Here, teacher.
Okay. Kiara Martinez. Kiara. Not here. Jorge Moreno.
Hi, teacher.
Hello. Natalia Navarro.
Present.
All right. Diego Olarte.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Manuela Ortiz.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thanks. Xiomara Rincón.
Present.
Okay, good. Jessica Ríos.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Catherine Rodríguez.
Present, miss.
Okay. Marlon Sánchez. Marlon is not connected. Mendy Santa.
Teacher, present.
Okay, thanks. Manuel Sepúlveda.
Present, teacher.
All right, thank you. María Alejandra Vega.
Present, teacher.
And Vanessa Zambrano.
Present, teacher.
Okay, thanks, Vanessa. All right, excellent, guys. So, well, let me create the groups, the breakout sessions, so you can finish the task from yesterday. Just give me a moment, please. Okay, I'm going to share the link with you again. Okay, Marlon, thank you. And give me just a moment while I create the breakout room so I can send you to work on them. Okay, just a minute.
Excuse me, teacher. I have a question.
Yes, Manuela.
I didn't come yesterday. I
Mhm.
can work in a new slide.
Yes, you can create a new slide and work there. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mm. I think Vanessa was not in the meeting yesterday when we did the task, so you don't have a group either. Vanessa, yes, I think you were not working in the task, so I'm going to create a group with Vanessa and Manuela. So if you want to, you can work together, okay? Because you are not in the other groups.
Oh, yes, teacher, for me is fine.
Okay. All right, let's create it. Remember, you will have 10, maximum 15 minutes. If you finish earlier, please come back. This time is just for you to finish your ideas, organize them, correct them if necessary, okay? You can go to the breakout rooms, guys.
Good evening, teacher.
Hi, teacher.
Hi.
Hi, teacher.
Please, what is this word? Chance. Puncture. Well, spare tire. Spare tire. Good again.
Okay, que era not to take the photos with house. Cleaning the lens. Como que no olvides al principio. O asegúrate de que el lente no esté, de limpiar el lente. Pues no sé si estoy bien. Es importante
Be very careful.
not to take, como que asegúrate de no tomar la foto sin limpiar el lente. Eso era lo que quería decir.
I think is correct.
Okay. In the first is the more you have a good camera or cell phone, the better the photograph will be.
Mhm.
Hello, guys. Did you already finish? You are ready?
Hello, teacher. Not yet.
All right.
Miss, not yet. We are
Okay.
looking for some
Information?
instruments.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. No problem.
We can change all the instruments for
Hello, teacher.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, guys. How are you doing? Or are you almost finished?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, you finished? Okay.
Yes, teacher.
So you can
We
read
have
it to me while I'm here. So because you already finished.
Okay, teacher. Here, not in the main meeting.
Here, yeah, no problem.
Okay. We're going to read.
Maria, you can start. Mhm.
Okay. Do a manicure or pedicure. Choose a nail polish in the color of your choice.
Mhm.
Also need some Q-tips,
Mhm.
nails clipper, a nail file, and polish remover.
Mhm. Polish remover. You also need. Okay, this is the word. You also need. Okay, then Jessica, you can read the next part.
Yes, teacher. First of all, wash your hands to start the process. Then cut and file your nails and apply a base coat of clear nail polish, also a colored polish, and you must wait 10 or 20 minutes with your hands still for the polish to dry. You can
Okay.
use nail speakers,
Mhm.
and you can also watch videos about how to do nails.
Okay, this one, the last step is not valid because you need to explain how to do it. So this last step It doesn't count. Don't tell me to watch videos on how to do it. You need to explain it to me. I think you are missing some steps. So wash your hands. Okay, cut and file your nails. Here you have other steps like cut your cuticles. Usually when they do a pedicure or a manicure, you clean your cuticles, you cut it, then you clean your nails, you exfoliate your hands, okay? So we have like 2 more steps that you can include because this one is like very short, very simple, okay? So you need to include at least one other step, okay, before here. And you can delete this part because it's not like necessary, because it's the idea that you explain to us how to do it, okay? All right, yes? Do we agree or
Okay,
no?
teacher.
Okay, good. So I will go to another group now.
Creo que podemos hacerlo con unas veces. Con una prepare a dessert. Prepare.
Okay, sorry girls. Why didn't you ask me? The activities that we studied yesterday were these ones, okay? You can see on the screen. So to take a good photograph, edit a photograph, start a car and drive off safely, iron a shirt correctly, make a good salad dressing, bathe a newborn baby, mend a puncture on a bike, give emergency resuscitation, change the wheel in a car, do manicure or pedicure, okay? So you needed to select one of these and give the instructions to your classmates, okay? So how to teach one of these practical skills. All right.
Sure.
I don't think, sorry, you won't have enough time to do it in class because we started yesterday. So you divide the information and you can do it later, okay? Tomorrow, because we only have 4 minutes left.
Yep. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
All right.
So for me,
We already finished, teacher.
Hi, teacher.
All right, you're ready? Let's see. Okay, let's read it quickly. You start. Quick.
Or Santiago.
Anyone.
Okay, I will start. Okay. If you get puncture on one of your car's wheels, follow steps below to change the wheel. First of all, take out the spare tire, crossbar, and jack from the trunk. Put the jack under the cart in front punctured weld. Make sure the jacket is over its base. Start the press down the jacket's lever till car bill almost 5 or 10 centimeters over the road.
Okay, you can stop there. Jorge, please continue number 4, 5.
Okay. Now take the crossbar and use it to loosen the lock nuts on the punctured wheel. Turn the lock nuts counterclockwise.
No, this is incorrect. This word is, sorry, counterclockwise, not all. Counterclockwise. Okay. Replace puncture wheel.
Replace puncture wheel by spare tape and tighten the lock nuts onto the bolts. Make sure of use enough press when screw the bolts.
Okay, Natalia, please read the last 6 and 7.
Lower the car back to the ground using the jack. And 7, start up the car and drive some meters to test the bolts. If all runs well, you can keep your way.
Yes, very good. Okay, let's check some. Replace the punctured wheel. Replace the punctured wheel. The punctured wheel. Replace it with the spare tire. Okay, with the spare tire and tighten the lock nut onto the bolts. It is correct. All right. Thank you, guys. Good job. Okay, I will finish the session so we can continue.
Thank you, teacher.
All right. Okay, excellent, guys. I think everyone is back in the meeting. So well done on the task. I will check individually. So we're not going to share here now because we need to continue with our activities, but I will check. I already checked two presentations. So I will give feedback to the others, Diego and Karen, Catherine, Manuel. Marlon and Xiomara, I will make the necessary observations during the week. So I will let you know when it's ready so you can check to see if everything was correct or if you had any observations or corrections to make. Okay. Thank you, guys. And now we are going to continue with our topic for today. The first part is about extreme fashion. Okay. Vanessa, yes, I know that you didn't finish. You only started today. I told you while I was on your meeting, you only had like 5 minutes, so you can work on it tomorrow, and I will check the activity. Okay? I know that you didn't have the time today because we started the activity yesterday. So today was just to finish it for all the other students. So you can take tomorrow to finish it and I will check it, okay? All right, so now on Unit 7, we will continue with the vocabulary. The previous part was about adjectives, so this is about fashion and adjectives. Now we're going to continue with extreme fashion vocabulary. And to start this topic, I found a very interesting video. It's called The 10 Deadliest Fashion Trends in History. Okay, so we're going to watch the video together. And as we go, you're going to answer the questions that appear on the video. I will send you the link in case you want to see it later, but I'm going to share it here in the class. The video is a bit long, 7 minutes, 41 seconds. So just be attentive and be ready to answer the questions as we watch it, okay? The top 10 extreme and deadliest fashion trends in history, okay? Let's start.
People say beauty
Can you see the video properly and can you listen to it?
Properly, teacher.
Yes,
Okay.
teacher.
is pain, and anyone who wants to be beautiful must pay the cost.
Oh, sorry, I think I got the wrong link. Let me double check. This one is not the correct link. Sorry, yes, I had the incorrect link. This is the one that we're going to see, the 10 deadliest fashion trends in history. Here we have the questions.
History is full of completely insane fashion trends, and some of which were very, very dangerous. So from radioactive hair to the worst operation ever, these are the 10 deadliest fashion trends in history. In the early 20th century, it was popular for young women to have glow-in-the-dark hair. They were able to achieve this quite easily. The chemical compound radium would be brushed into your hair, and after a few years of regular application, your hair would glow bright. Women would do the same to their nails to see similar results. What they didn't know at the time is that radium is highly radioactive. They should have guessed by the name, really, but they didn't, and several women died.
Okay, let's answer the question. Why is radium so dangerous?
Because it's radioactive.
Yes, of course, because it's radioactive. That's the answer. Very good. Continue.
The Chinese tradition of foot binding is both disturbing and bizarre. From a young age, girls would have their feet bound with bandages. This would encourage her toes to snap and grow backwards. The arch of the feet would also be broken and bent backwards. This was to limit the length of the foot as much as possible. The ultimate goal was to limit the length of the feet to just 3 inches. A foot like that was seen as perfect, but it came at a terrible cost. The woman would be deformed for the rest of her shockingly painful life. This practice emerged in the 10th century and didn't stop being a trend until the early 20th. In the 17th century, the Chinese emperor tried to outlaw foot binding, but he failed. It really was that popular.
Okay, next question. What was the ideal length of a foot for foot binding?
3
3
inches.
inch.
3 inches. Do you know how many inches are centimeters? In centimeters?
54 centimeters.
No.
It's an
3
inch.
inches.
10.
Oh,
10,
sorry.
Yes.
maybe 10.
7.5.
7.6. Yeah, 7.6 is centimeters. So it was very, very small, tiny feet.
Terrible.
Yes.
You simply can't make a list like this one without including neck rings. Used by the Kayan people of Burma, they are intended to lengthen the neck. Young girls usually begin wearing neck rings at the age of 3. As they grow older, the rings are gradually replaced by larger ones. By the time they are adults, their deformation is permanent. And despite what it looks like, neck rings do not actually extend the neck. They lower the shoulders, which gives the same appearance. After the rings have caused deformation, they cannot be removed as it would be a health risk.
All right, so the question is, neck rings cause what bodily change? The shoulders to lower, the spine to pop, or the neck to stretch?
The shoulders.
The neck.
The neck to stretch.
No, the
The neck.
shoulders to
Oh,
lower.
we have, yeah, it's the shoulders. It's not to elongate the neck, but to lower the shoulders. So it gives the same effect, but it actually lowers their shoulders.
During the Victorian era, bottle green was a very desirable color for clothing. For many years, the best gift an upper-class man could give his wife was a bright green dress. The only problem is that arsenic was a key ingredient for the green dye. And as arsenic poisoning was an easy way to die, it was a shame the color green goes well with so many people's eyes.
Okay, so what was the poison found in the color green?
Arsenic.
Arsenic. Arsenic.
It has been shown that over 70% of Nigerian women bleach their skin, but there is nothing new about skin whitening. In 16th century Europe, women would do almost anything to achieve pale skin. The most common method was by use of a makeup containing lead. These days, we know lead to be poisonous to us humans, but back then they had no idea why so many pale people were dying. Other symptoms of the makeup include paralysis, brain damage, insomnia, and damage to the nervous system.
Okay, what was the poison found in makeup?
Lead.
Lead. Lead. In Spanish, do you know what's the word for lead? This mineral?
Plomo.
Plomo. Yes, lead.
The crinoline was a metal structure designed to hold up a woman's skirt. It was the 19th century and noble women were expected to dress in a certain way. I guess that certain way was to look like they had a massive arse, because that's what the crinoline did. But the crinoline was just as deadly as it was dumb looking. Due to its design, it often caused women to accidentally knock over candles and set themselves on fire. When that wasn't happening, their skirts would get caught on a carriage door, and they would be dragged along the street.
Okay, so why are hooped skirts so dangerous? The metal would cut off blood flow to the waist of the woman, they would attract bulls and they would charge them, or they would hit a candle and the dress would go up in flames.
Option 3, teacher.
The third option? Yes, yeah, they would accidentally they would hit the candles and the dress would light up in flames.
A fontange was a bizarre headdress worn by 17th century French women. Use of the fontange fell out of style for a good reason. The scenario is this. A woman arrives at a dinner party. She is wearing a very large and very flammable headdress. This was when houses were still lit by candlelight. What do you think happened next?
Okay, so what was the problem with the headdresses? They were hit.
Fire.
Yeah, they could catch on fire. It's correct.
Just one number on this list killed men rather than women, and here it is. In the 19th century, it was fairly standard for a man to wear a stiff high collar. A stiff high collar was basically just a big stiff detachable collar. The collar was so stern that it would cut off blood circulation to the brain. The obvious outcome of wearing one was death by suffocation. But there were far more direct ways of it causing damage. In the early 1800s, a man fell over on the street floor. His collar was so stiff that it almost cut his head off.
Okay, for this one, what is the danger to men that wear stiff high collars? Bad headaches, stretched necks, or death by suffocation?
Death by
Death by
suffocation.
Death by suffocation. It's correct.
Next, we have corsets. The problem is that they were often pulled so tight that they caused serious damage to the wearer. But there are worse methods of waist reduction, as you'll see in number 1.
Okay, this one, why were corsets worn? What is the purpose?
To stretch
The waist, I think.
To reduce, yes.
to reduce
The size of the waist. Yes. To reduce the size of the waist. Okay, let's see the last one.
In the quest for a small waist, many women have actually opted for rib removal. For hundreds of years, they underwent dangerous operations to remove a rib or two. There are dozens of stories of Victorian women volunteering for the practice. Some were successful, but some died from horrific wounds. The stories may just be urban legends, but many women still undergo similar operations today.
All right, so the last one we don't actually know, but now I want you to write on the chat which fashion trend do you find most strange, disturbing. You can write on the chat, all right? And why? Which one did you find the most disturbing and why? Please send your answers to the chat. The Chinese little shoes, no shoes, little feet, the small feet. Also, Catherine says small feet. Okay, also the rings on the neck and the Chinese small feet. Yes, I think that's one of the most dangerous, disturbing. I think you all agree on that. What else you said? The lead of in makeup that caused people dying, women dying especially because of all the poisonous elements in the makeup. All right, guys, excellent, very good. So now that we have a context about extreme fashion, as you can see here in the picture, we have the neck rings. And let's open our books on page 68. Okay, page 68. And we are going to we'll take a look at this graphic that we have clothes, accessories, and styles, okay? We are going to put these words, okay? We're going to skip the first activity. It's not, we don't have enough time, but we're going to do the second activity, point number 2. Here, we're going to classify these pictures, these words. We're going to match them to some of the pictures that we have here. Okay, you can see these men or these boys are showing their underwear. Then we have this person, maybe with a necklace. We have the big skirts that we saw on the video, also the neck rings. And we have here some dresses, some shoes, etc. So what I want you to do first is to match some of these words or try to find them in the pictures, okay? The question says, which words in the box can you see in the photos? So let's see, I'll give you 2 minutes just to think which words from this can you match to the pictures, okay? I will help you with the first one. So platform shoes. Let's check platform shoes. Yeah, so we have the platform shoes right here. These are the platform shoes, okay? So let's see if you find the words in the pictures, and then I will explain the next part. Let's have 2 minutes for that, and then I explain the next. Okay, let's see the second word. Glasses with big frames. Can you see this on the pictures? Glasses with big frames?
The second photo.
Yes, the second one.
In the second photo, we have glasses with
Like
big
hitting.
frames. Yes. Then we have shoulder pads. Do we have shoulder pads? What do you think? What are shoulder pads?
It's like
Overcoat?
umbrella.
Yes. Hombreras, shoulder pads. Well, more like this. So, do we have them or no?
No, miss.
Maybe not, right? Maybe we don't have them. Next, ankle socks.
Yes, the model is use socks.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, in the last picture, we have ankle socks with the platform shoes. We also have ankle socks. Leggings. Do we have leggings?
No.
No, there are no leggings. A jumpsuit. Do we know what is a jumpsuit? This is a jumpsuit. What do we call it in Spanish?
Enterizo o mono.
Yes. So, do we have it? No. We don't have it in the pictures. A wig. What is a wig?
Yes, in the third one.
Yes, in the third picture. A wig is the fake hair that you put on your head. This is called a wig, okay? Then we have a corset. Remember what's a corset? We saw on the video.
Yes.
Yes.
What picture?
The third.
Third picture.
The third
Yes. This is a corset to make the waist smaller. And the last is ponytail. What is a ponytail? Do we have a ponytail? A
Yes,
ponytail.
Miss.
Cola de caballo. Yes, ponytail. In the model. Yes, in the model, she has a ponytail on her head. Very good. All right, so let's classify these words quickly. Let's classify these words into the categories that we have here, okay? For example, for our upper body, we have an example is cloak. Do you know what is a cloak? Have you seen Harry Potter when they call it the invisibility cloak? Invisibility. Yes, capa. This is a cloak, capa, all right? So you are going to do the same. A cloak is for your upper body, la parte de arriba del cuerpo, ¿no? Upper body. So you're going to classify it if it's head or hair, for the whole body, for the lower body, for your feet, it's underwear or jewelry, okay? Let's classify these words, again, 2-3 minutes, and then we check the appropriate categories. Okay, let's start classifying it. So let's start with Jessica. The platform shoes, where do they belong? Platform shoes.
In number 5, feet.
Yes, they go in number 5. I will write the numbers here. It's for your feet. Good. Xiomara, the glasses with big frames, where do they go? Xiomara? Glasses with big frames. No? Okay. Santiago, can you answer the same question? Glasses?
The frames, I think, upper body?
No.
Head.
Head,
Sorry.
on your head, of course, on your face. More specifically, this is, yeah, the second one. There you go, in number 2. Okay, Mandy, next. I saw your hand. So the shoulder pads, where do they belong? Shoulder pads.
Shoulder, picture the lower body.
Shoulder
Body.
pads? No, the shoulders are right here.
Oh, no. Excuse me. I'm confused. I think shoulder is rodilla, but not.
No, this is knee. Head, shoulder,
Okay.
knees, and toes. Have you
Yes,
heard?
yes. The sun.
The song, yes.
Is upper body.
Mm-hmm. So your upper body. So it's number 1. Upper body. Mm-hmm. Good. Jorge, for the next, ankle socks.
Okay, teacher. Number 5.
Yes, they go on your feet. The ankle socks. Again, number 5. Let's see, Manuela, for next, leggings.
Lower body.
Leggings are for lower body. Yes, number 4. Thank you. Is Vanessa connected? No, she disconnected. Let me take note here. Can you give me just a minute, please? Okay. Okay, Diego, next one, the jumpsuit.
Jumpsuit is for the all body, but I don't know what is the all body.
Whole
Under
body, yeah, the
whole body.
complete
Okay.
body. Complete body, yes. Jumpsuit is whole body, number 3. All right, Karen, for the wig, where does it go? The wig
Or head.
on the head. So this is number 2 on your hair. Good. Let's see, continue, Maria Alejandra. The corset, where does it go?
In whole body.
Yeah, the corset goes in your whole body. No, whole body, no. Corset is only the thing that they use in the waist. It's not the whole dress. dress is only the corset. You can see. So where does it go? It's not the whole body.
Upper body.
Yes, it's the upper body. Number one. And Marlon, the last one, the ponytail. Where does the ponytail belong to?
Ponytail, head, or here.
Yes, on the head or hair. So the second one. Number two.
Miss, I have
Yes.
a question.
Yes.
Corset isn't an underwear. Underwear.
Let's see. Generally, it can be either underwear or exposed, okay? So it can be both, because you can see women now use it like a t-shirt, okay? It's not necessarily underwear. And here also she had the corset outside. You see? It's not under her clothes, but it's outside. The corset was outside. Yes? So it can be both. One, or it can be number 6. It can also be underwear. All right? Well, guys, before we move on to the listening exercise, I have one extra practice for the vocabulary. So I'm going to send you the link. This is from the activities on the book. So the extra activities that we have on the book. Let's review the vocabulary that we just learned, that we just saw on the video, on the book, sorry. So give me just a minute to open the link and I will send it to you. Okay, there we have the link. Remember, these activities are in the Pearson platform. You can access to them. Let me show you the route that you can follow. This is the activity. Complete the descriptions with the words in the box. I send you the link. But if you cannot access through the link, follow my steps. So you go to course, you find the book Cutting Edge Advanced, Unit 7, okay? You open Unit 7, and then you go to the vocabulary section. We have the adjectives and the extreme fashion. So in the vocabulary, you click extreme fashion, and then you click activity 2, okay? There it is. It's the same link I just sent you. All right. So let's have some time. Complete the descriptions with the words in the box. We have one example. Superheroes wear this on their back. This is a cloak, okay? So you're going to do the same for all the other words. Drag them to the correct sentence. Okay? Just a couple of minutes, and then we check the activity.
Teacher, I can't access to the link. Well, to
All
the
right.
activity.
So you can follow the steps I just indicate you. You go to the Pearson website, open the course, the book, Cutting Edge Edition Advanced, Unit 7.
No, teacher, I know the steps, but the link doesn't send me to the page that we are
Credential, the same.
Exactly.
So you can go to the Pearson website directly through the link that you always use. This is just the link for the activity. But you have access to this website, don't you? To this My English Lab, have you
Let me
used
check.
it?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. So I send you the link, but if it doesn't work, then you have to access through the normal like system where you go to the English lab and follow the steps. Okay, I will put the activity on the screen either way if you need it. So you can do it if you cannot access.
Teacher, I can access with the same credential of the book.
Yes, you can enter this website with the same credentials from the book.
It's Unit 7, Vocabulary, Strength Fashion.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I think you are ready. So let's check. Diego asks, what is the difference between ankle socks and socks? Socks generally go above the ankle, okay? So socks, okay? You can see a picture, okay? These are socks, okay? You see they go above the ankle. Ankle socks are this. They go up to your ankle. The others go above that, okay? That is like the difference between them. Yes, exactly. That is the word, tobilleras. Medias tobilleras. All right. Okay, let's correct the sentences. Let's start with Xiomara. Can you read the second one and give me the correct answer, please? Yes, these are very tight trousers. These are leggings. Good. Santiago, the next one, please. Number 3. Santiago. Santiago. Nope.
Teacher, sorry, I don't know the answer.
Okay, these were popular in the 1980s. People wear them in suit jackets. Have you seen this? The jackets in the 80s. What do they used to have? For example, this jacket or this jacket. What can you see on this jacket?
Shoulder pads.
Yeah, these are the shoulder pads, hombreras, shoulder pads. Very good. Thank you, I think, Manuela. All right, Mandy, next, number 4. Your hair tied. No, Mandy? No answer? Vanessa is connected. Vanessa? Number 4. Vanessa is not connected. Okay. Diego.
Teacher.
Yes. Okay, Marlon, go ahead. Hair tied together at the back of the head.
Ponytail?
Yes, this is a ponytail. A ponytail. Very good. Here. All right, Diego, next. Something
Okay,
that
teacher. Something that covers your whole body is jumpsuit.
This is a jumpsuit. We don't say suit, a jumpsuit. Okay?
Jumpsuit. Okay.
A suit is candy. So suit, a suit, un traje. Karen, next, number 6.
Can you show me the words, teacher?
Yes. But read the instruction, please.
Wearing this makes you taller.
Okay.
Use platform shoes.
Yes, these are the platform shoes. I cannot take it there. Platform shoes. Okay, Manuel, number 7, please.
That one is weak, teacher.
Okay, read the instruction, please.
If you want to change your hairstyle very quickly, you'll need one of these, a wig.
This is a wig. It's correct. I cannot take it there. Oops. I cannot drag it there. How can I do that? I cannot do it. Cannot take it here.
Profe, no la
Yes,
tires,
okay.
sino
Yes, I managed.
la oprime y de
Okay.
abajo toca otra vez.
All right. Yes, okay, I did it. And the last one is, if you want to wear these in your shoes and they only cover your feet, this is the ankle size. Okay, very good. All right, excellent, guys. So that was our practice for the vocabulary. It's now time to focus on the listening activity, and that is going to be the final part today. The listening is a bit long, and then we have a short discussion, so you all need to be prepared, ready to participate in the discussion. We're going to listen to an expert talking about the history of fashion, okay? So we're going to read the questions first, and then think which pictures do they relate to, okay? These questions. So let's see, Catherine, can you read the questions, please? Read questions 1 to 5.
Okay, Miss. In your opinion, what are the worst fashion of recent times? Which was the most uncomfortable and awful fashion in history? How long does it take on average for a fashion to be recycled? And why do something fashion keep coming back? What was the biggest moment of change in fashion history? And what were the worst fashion in history?
Okay, yes. What were the weirdest fashion in history? So, what are the worst fashions of recent times? Which picture do you think it relates to? Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The worst fashions in recent times. What do you think? Maybe number 1, recent. We're talking recent, now.
Reciente.
Recent,
Number 1, Miss.
Number 1, maybe number 1, yes. This trend of showing your underwear.
It's very horrible.
Yes, it's horrible. Then the second, which was the most uncomfortable or harmful fashion in history? What do you think? What picture?
Number 3.
Maybe number 3. What about number 4? Maybe also it's harmful, okay? So it can either be 2 or 3. How long does it take an average for fashion to be recycled? And why do some fashions keep coming back? What do you think?
Maybe corset?
Maybe this girl, because the fashions are coming back, right? It talks about this is like a classic style with the socks and the style of the dress, but it's now modern. So the fashion keep coming back. 4, what is the biggest moment of change in fashion history? The biggest moment of change? No? We don't know.
Teacher, I think when the woman could wear pants.
Okay, yes. So we don't have the exact picture here. We'll see what they talk about. We will pay attention to what they talk about. And the weirdest fashions in history. Maybe weird, the neck rings, right? They might be weird.
Yes.
All right. Good. So now that we have the questions over here, we're going to pay attention here. Listen to the interview without the interviewer's questions. So we're going to listen only to the answers. You're going to match the sections of the interview with the questions that we just read. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to match them to section A, B, C, D, and E. Okay? So I will play their interview. I think it's a bit long. Let me double check.
Unit 7, record.
It's a very long interview, 6 minutes. So I will put this script for you, and I will also advise you to start taking notes because we are going to also answer part 5 with this audio, okay? So let's start here. First, match the questions to the answers in the listening. Section A, B, C, D. You match it to the questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's remember the questions. What are the worst fashions of recent times? The most uncomfortable or harmful fashion? 3, how long does it take for the fashion to come back and be recycled? 4, what is the biggest moment of change in fashion history? And 5, what were the weirdest fashions in history? Okay, let's start listening.
Recording 2.
Okay, can you hear the recording? Well? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
A. Some of the greatest excesses in the history of fashion, and I think most people would agree, took place in the European courts of the 18th century. First of all, there were the women's dresses. The panniers at the side of these dresses, which were kind of wire cages built underneath the skirt, meant that one of these court ladies would take up the space of maybe 3 men and would have had to walk sideways through most doors. The aristocrats who lived in these courts, who were, of course, only a tiny elite in society, they saw their clothes as a way of displaying their wealth. They dressed in a lavish way to show off their economic status, and, of course, their clothes showed that they didn't have to work or do anything practical. And then there were the vast powdered wigs worn by both men and women, though I do think some of the stories told about them are, in fact, exaggerated. I don't know, for example, if many people really had mice living in their wigs or if people really slept in a seated position because of their wigs. But the story of a wig with a model ship built into it is certainly a true one. That really did happen. What is rather strange is that when Americans and Europeans of this period traveled to Japan, they found the fashion among wealthy Japanese men for wearing their ponytail stuck to the top of their head, samurai style, very strange. They wrote about it in their diaries. It didn't seem to occur to them that their own preference for enormously tall wigs must have looked pretty weird too. B.
Okay, let's correct it right away so we don't have to do it all at the end. Let's start checking immediately. So the first one, what do you think it's the question to that paragraph?
The number 2, teacher.
Number 2, yes, the most uncomfortable or harmful fashion in history. So let's write the number 2 here. Okay, and let's continue with the next.
Unit 7, recording 2.
A. Way to show off their... Oh, I do think some of the true one, that really these men for...
B.
There are a lot of contenders for this title, mostly affecting women, of course, since one recurrent feature of fashion throughout history is the way it has made women physically weaker, even disabled in extreme cases, we could say, in order perhaps to make men feel stronger and more powerful. In America and Europe, I think we would have to point to the corset worn by women for so
I think we have the incorrect answer for A. What do you think? I think it's the weirdest fashions, because the next part is talking about harmful
I think the first is
situations.
number 5.
First, yes, the first is number 5. I think we have the incorrect answer. Number 5 over here. Maybe B is number 2. So we need to listen. Let's play it completely. I think it's better. And then at the end, we will check the whole answer.
Unit 7, Recording 2. A. Some of the greatest excesses in the history exaggerated, perhaps to make men feel stronger and too. B. There are a lot of contenders for this title, mostly affecting women, of course, since one recurrent feature of fashion throughout history is the way it has made women physically weaker, even disabled in extreme cases, we could say, in order perhaps to make men feel stronger and more powerful. In America and Europe, I think we would have to point to the corset worn by women for so many centuries. These frequently restricted breathing, broke ribs, and even caused miscarriages. They really could be very dangerous garments. There was also the rather strange fashion of about 100 years ago of wearing hobble skirts. These skirts mimicked the styles worn by Japanese geishas, and they were so tight round the ankles that women could only walk with the tiniest steps. They apparently wore belts round their ankles to keep their steps short enough. And of course, there are similar examples in many cultures. The neck rings worn by Padung tribeswomen from childhood intended to lengthen their necks, which can also deform their shoulders. And of course, the tradition of binding the feet of female children to keep them small and dainty, which survived in China until the beginning of the 20th century. And I guess many of the super high-heeled shoes that we see on catwalks today fall into this category. The history of fashion is full of incredibly uncomfortable, impractical garments in actual fact. C. I think I would point to 2 moments in modern history, really. Perhaps the most important one, for women in many countries at least, was at the end of the First World War. During the war, many women had been working in factories or driving carts and so forth, and they needed to wear more functional, less decorative clothes to reflect their new lifestyle. So the corsets were thrown away. Skirt lengths went up from the ankles to just below the knee, and long hair, which could get caught in factory machinery and so on, was cut short. Women's fashion essentially transformed from what it had been for centuries to what it is today. The other key moment, I think, was the 60s and the hippie movement. Up until that time, people had seen clothes as a reflection of their place in society. So a laborer would wear a different type of hat from a man who worked in an office, for example. But from the hippie era onwards, people began to see clothes much more as a way of expressing who they were, a way of expressing their individuality by growing their hair, wearing bright colors, or whatever they felt like. And that is something that has remained with us to a greater or lesser extent, I think. D. Oh, I'm spoilt for choice here. I can think of so many. In recent years, I would probably pick out hanging pants. You know, that charming fashion for young men, or mostly young men, to wear their jeans so low that you can see their undergarments. I mean, how's that gonna look in 20 years' time, really? Another trend I hate is wearing big glasses frames without any lenses in them. Very pretentious in my view. What else? Meggings. Leggings for men. That is not a good look in my book. Oh, and another thing I have seen on the catwalks recently, which I really don't like, is the fashion for wearing mega high heels with ankle socks. Again, I don't think we'll look back on it in 10 years' time and think, wow, that was cool. But really, there are so many examples that I could go on and on. E. It's generally reckoned that fashions make a comeback roughly every 20 years, that they're usually at their most outdated about 12 to 15 years after they were originally in. As to why, I don't know if I can answer that question. I would like to say that it's usually the most elegant and classical styles that get recycled, like those of the 50s and early 60s. And we definitely do see those styles coming back again and again. But some of the ugliest fashions also make a comeback. Platform shoes, for example, which seem to come back into fashion time and again, or jumpsuits, or shoulder pads. I think the truth is, if you wait long enough, every fashion will come round again. So maybe we'll be seeing those low-hanging pants again one day. Ha!
Okay, now let's correct our answers in this part. So for the section C, what did you think? What are they talking about?
Maybe number 4 was the biggest moment.
Yes, number 4. What's the biggest moment of change in fashion history? Maybe. It talks about women starting to work in factories and all of that. Section D. What did you hear about it? For example, let's see. Okay, Manuel.
Okay, teacher. What are the worst fashions on recent times?
What are the
Number 1, teacher.
Number 1? Okay, yes. Number 1, what are the worst fashions in recent time? And the last one, letter E, is number 3, right? So how long does it take on average for fashion to be recycled, and why do the same fashions keep coming back? This is number 3. All right. Thank you, guys. So now to continue and finish this part of the listening, we have 5 questions with multiple choice answers, okay? So let's read them together. Then we will listen to the text one more time, listen to the audio one more time, and you will have some moments you can work in groups and select the correct answers according to the audio, okay? In this occasion, I will not play the script for the audio because we already saw it once. In the second time, you will need to pay attention and take some notes, okay? So let's read the questions. It's definitely not a myth that many 18th century wigs had mice living in them, mice, ratones. B, people slept upright because of their wigs. Or C, someone had a model ship built into their wig. 2, when 18th century Americans and Europeans traveled to Japan, Japanese found their wigs very strange. They seemed unaware that their wigs might seem strange to Japanese people. Japanese and Western people didn't like each other's hairstyles very much. 3, corsets were not worn outside Europe and America. B, are atypical of a certain type of fashion which weakened women physically. And C, forced women to only take very short steps when they walked. Corsets. Number 4, according to the speaker, following the hippie movement in 1960s, A, people wore more functional, less decorative clothes. B, the link between clothes and social status was strengthened. Or C, people increasingly saw their clothes as an expression of their personality. And finally, in the speaker's opinion, only classic styles get recycled. It is hard to explain why certain fashions reappear, or low-hanging pants will look cool in 20 years' time. Okay? So these are the questions, and you're going to listen to it one more time and select the answers, A, B, or C. Okay? Let's listen to it one more time.
Unit 7, Recording 3.
What were the weirdest fashions in history?
Some of the greatest excesses in the history of fashion, and I think most people would agree, took place in the European courts of the 18th century. First of all, there were the women's dresses. The panniers at the side of these dresses, which were kind of wire cages built underneath the skirt, meant that one of these court ladies would take up the space of maybe 3 men and would have had to walk sideways through most doors. The aristocrats who lived in these courts, who were, of course, only a tiny elite in society, they saw their clothes as a way of displaying their wealth. They dressed in a lavish way to show off their economic status, and, of course, their clothes showed that they didn't have to work or do anything practical. And then there were the vast powdered wigs worn by both men and women, though I do think some of the stories told about them are, in fact, exaggerated. I don't know, for example, if many people really had mice living in their wigs or if people really slept in a seated position because of their wigs. But the story of a wig with a model ship built into it is certainly a true one. That really did happen. What is rather strange is that when Americans and Europeans of this period traveled to Japan, they found the fashion among wealthy Japanese men for wearing their ponytail stuck to the top of their head, samurai style, very strange. They wrote about it in their diaries. It didn't seem to occur to them that their own preference for enormously tall wigs must have looked pretty weird too.
Right. And which was the most uncomfortable or harmful fashion in history?
There are a lot of contenders for this title, mostly affecting women, of course, since one recurrent feature of fashion throughout history is the way it has made women physically weaker, even disabled in extreme cases, we could say, in order perhaps to make men feel stronger and more powerful. In America and Europe, I think we would have to point to the corset worn by women for so many centuries. These frequently restricted breathing, broke ribs, and even caused miscarriages. They really could be very dangerous garments. There was also the rather strange fashion of about 100 years ago of wearing hobble skirts. These skirts mimicked the styles worn by Japanese geishas, and they were so tight round the ankles that women could only walk with the tiniest steps. They apparently wore belts round their ankles to keep their steps short enough. And of course, there are similar examples in many cultures. The neck rings worn by Padung tribeswomen from childhood intended to lengthen their necks, which can also deform their shoulders. And of course, the tradition of binding the feet of female children to keep them small and dainty, which survived in China until the beginning of the 20th century. And I guess many of the super high-heeled shoes that we see on catwalks today fall into this category. The history of fashion is full of incredibly uncomfortable, impractical garments, in actual fact.
What was the biggest moment of change in fashion history?
I think I would point to 2 moments in modern history, really. Perhaps the most important one, for women in many countries at least, was at the end of the First World War. During the war, many women had been working in factories or driving carts and so forth, and they needed to wear more functional, less decorative clothes to reflect their new lifestyle. So the corsets were thrown away. Skirt lengths went up from the ankles to just below the knee, and long hair, which could get caught in factory machinery and so on, was cut short. Women's fashion essentially transformed from what it had been for centuries to what it is today. The other key moment, I think, was the 60s and the hippie movement. Up until that time, people had seen clothes as a reflection of their place in society. So a laborer would wear a different type of hat from a man who worked in an office, for example. But from the hippie era onwards, people began to see clothes much more as a way of expressing who they were, a way of expressing their individuality by growing their hair, wearing bright colors, or whatever they felt like. And that is something that has remained with us to a greater or lesser extent, I think.
In your opinion, what are the worst fashions of recent times?
Oh, I'm spoiled for choice here. I can think of so many. In recent years, I would probably pick out hanging pants. You know, that charming fashion for young men, or mostly young men, to wear their jeans so low that you can see their undergarments. I mean, how's that gonna look in 20 years' time, really? Another trend I hate is wearing big glasses frames without any lenses in them. Very pretentious in my view. What else? Leggings for men. That is not a good look in my book. Oh, and another thing I have seen on the catwalks recently, which I really don't like, is the fashion for wearing mega high heels with ankle socks. Again, I don't think we'll look back on it in 10 years' time and think, wow, that was cool. But really, there are so many examples that I could go on and on.
How long does it take on average for a fashion to be recycled? And why do some fashions keep coming back?
It's generally reckoned that fashions make a comeback roughly every 20 years, that they're usually at their most outdated about 12 to 15 years after they were originally in. As to why, I don't know if I can answer that question. I would like to say that it's usually the most elegant and classical styles that get recycled, like those of the 50s and early 60s. And we definitely do see those styles coming back again and again. But some of the ugliest fashions also make a comeback. Platform shoes, for example, which seem to come back into fashion time and again, or jumpsuits, or shoulder pads. I think the truth is, if you wait long enough, every fashion will come round again. So maybe we'll be seeing those low-hanging pants again one day. Ha!
All right, guys. So now that we listen to it one more time, we are going to get 1 or 2 minutes for you to organize your ideas from the text and select the correct answers, A, B, or C. Okay, let's get only 1 or 2 minutes. And then when you are ready, or if you are ready now, tell me on the chat so I know that you can participate, okay? No, Manuela, we cannot play one more time because it's 6 minutes long. We don't have enough time in the class. Okay, let's socialize the answers, guys. So to finish up for today. The first is definitely not a myth that many 18th century wigs had mice living in them, people slept upright because of their wigs, or someone had a model ship built into their wig. The answer is what? C. This is a correct answer, C. Very good. The second one, when the 18th century Americans and Europeans traveled to Japan, what happened? Japanese people found their wigs very strange. They seemed unaware that the wigs might seem strange to Japanese people, or Japanese and Western didn't like each other's hairstyles very much.
B, Miss?
It was B. It is correct. They seemed unaware that their wigs might seem strange to Japanese people. Okay, number 3, corsets were not worn outside Europe and America, are typical of a certain type of fashion which weakened women physically, or forced women to only take very short steps when they walked. Okay, it's very good. B. Okay, yes, the answer is B. Number 4, according to the speaker, following the hippie movement, what happened? Yes. People increasingly saw their clothes as an expression of their personality. Very good. And 5, and the last question for today. In the speaker's opinion, only classic styles get recycled. It is hard to explain why certain fashions reappear, or low-hanging pants will look cool in 10, 20 years' time. The answer is B. Yes, it's hard to explain why certain fashions reappear. Let's correct it here. Okay, there we have it. Yes, these are our correct answers for the activity. All right, guys, very good. So we are going to finish off for today. We are going to finish our class. Let's see here the questions. I want you to think about these questions, and tomorrow we can give some examples or give your opinion about this topic, okay? So we have 5 questions here. For example, that the people in the 18th century dressed in a more fancy or lavish way to show off their economic status. Is this true today? You can give some examples if this is true or not. What do you consider? What's your opinion about that? The second, you agree that fashion makes women physically weak, or they make them physically feel bad? Why? So I don't need you to answer now. Just think about your answers with reasoning. So you have to explain it. Tomorrow we will start our class with this, okay? With this little discussion about these questions. They say that people use the clothes to reflect their personality more than their social position. And you can think of some examples that people use clothes to reflect their personality nowadays. Okay? He gives examples of modern fashion that he hates. You can, I want you to give me examples of fashions that you don't like or that you hate at this moment, okay? And the last one, how much fashion influences the way that you dress? So do you follow or consciously follow fashion or no? Okay. So these questions, I want you to think about the answers, and we will socialize them tomorrow. Okay. That is all for today, guys. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Good night. Have a good night.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good teacher. Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.